for another house project.
The toilet.
The never-ending need to replace toilet flaps over the years. So here's what I did. Have you ever walked by the bathroom in your house and you hear water running? You look in there, there's nothing coming out of the sink. And you listen, you dip down, you lean down towards the toilet, and you hear this trickling noise. That's probably your toilet flap or a faulty fill valve, but most likely it's the toilet flap because they wear out. So you got to replace that, otherwise you're going to be paying hundreds of dollars in a water bill next month, or the electricity to run your pump or whatever, but you got to replace it. So the first trick is you got to figure out what kind it is, and here's how you do that. Now let's get in here. So you can see down in there, that's where the flapper is that releases when you push the handle on your toilet. And by the way, the discoloration in there, that's common in the toilet tank. It's just water that sits for a while. Any of the particulates in the water, even though you can't see them, your toilet water is probably not filtered, so this is just the stuff that's in the water. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend putting chlorine tablets or anything like that in the back of the toilet because it decomposes the rubber prematurely. You don't want to do that. Anyway, we got to replace that toilet flapper, and in order to do so, I'm going to turn the water off, which is that knob down there. You gotta be careful with these too. Most of the pipes in newer houses are PEX, and they get brittle towards the end, and even the knob's not that strong because they're plastic too. You don't want to snap it off. So with that turned off, drain the tank. And I'm going to reach in there and grab that flapper. See if I can get a better shot of it. So the easiest way to do this is just to straddle the toilet backwards so you can stick your hands down in there. These little ears on the side of this thing, they pop right off. But let's take this hook off of here first. Honest, I can do it. Let me get myself a pair of needle nose pliers. Take two. There we go. Get that ring off of there. And then the flap is free. And these should just pop off the end of here. Like that. Out with the old, and in with the new one. As long as the core of that matches the distance from the flapper hinge, it should cover it. I reordered the same one. Oh crap. I didn't take that off before I put it on. I don't know how well you can see it, but the tab that holds it on, it points up, and then you just slide it over the end with your thumb. And the distance of the chain should be so that when this comes up, the flap comes up about that far. Let me see, that's about 2 inches. No, 1 inch. So we'll shorten that chain up a little bit. No, it's gonna have to be more than that. Okay, that looks about right. Let's get that water turned back on. Gotta admit, I was a little worried because the flap looks different. The old one versus the new one. Aside from the fact that it looks like a Starship Enterprise. Dirty, but a Starship Enterprise. As long as the outer rim of that flap is big enough, then I'm not going to worry about it not covering it. Go that way. No leak. So you see the flap down through the water. The lip of that thing covers the exit hole by at least 1/8 of an inch, so that's good. I think that does it. All right, let's put the lid back on. Actually, one test flush. Seals just fine. Just give it a minute to fill up again, so we don't hear any leaking. No leaks. Okay. Now on to the second part of our projects. Second project. Actually, probably my third today. Whatever. So here's something that happens in most faucets that aren't on a whole house filter, and my house currently isn't. So you turn on the water. You see how the water splits and doesn't come out aerated, nice and in a stream of aerated water. Every one of these faucets has an aerator and a screw-on head under here, and you take that off and you can replace it. Almost all of these, this is a Delta compatible. I think it's Delta compatible, but I think this is Glacier Bay. Just the manufacturer, doesn't really matter. But cross-reference it. You can, if you don't know exactly what kind it is, there's pictures online. You can go to any home store and with a picture of it and just match it, and it'll show you which kind it is. This is a, like I said, this is a Glacier Bay, and it's a 15/16 thread, 15/16 of an inch thread, and they're almost all the same. You can get them in 1.2 or 1 gallon per minute, 1.2 gallon per minute, 1.5 gallon per minute. I think these came with 1.2s, which limits the flow a little bit too much for me. I'm going to put a 1.5 in it. So this is a brand I found, Neo Pearl, 1.5 gallon per minute faucet aerator. And you can see it says 15/16. I bought a pack of 6 because we have 4 of these faucets in our house. I already replaced one on another sink. This is the second one. These are closer to the end of the line. One is in the high use bathroom where we just replaced that toilet flapper. And this one is at the far end of the water in the house, which happens to be my sink in the bathroom. So let's open this up and get one of these out. They usually come with extra gaskets. You can see there. I'm just going to get one of them. And if you want to see the whole label there, that's what kind it is. It says part number 706347. So this is the actual aerator. That's what they look like. That's the back side where the water comes in. That's where it comes out underneath the sink. And that's where the aeration comes from. So this catches most of the particulates that might make it through. It's a finer mesh before it finally aerates and then comes out with the water. They give you a thick washer and a thin one. If you can see that, yeah. Depending on what the clearance is inside of your spigot. So I don't think I'm going to need the thick one, but we'll see. Now to take this thing off the sink, get yourself a regular pair of pliers, and although it doesn't matter on the old one as much, you just use a washcloth between your pliers and the spigot, the bottom of this, to get it started. because otherwise it'll scratch it up. And I don't think you want your new one scratched up. So this is the old one. This is a 1.2 gallon per minute. Looks the same. Let me pop it out. Looks the same as the other one, except just the rating of the pass-through of the fluid. You can see it looks the same. And make sure that there's not a washer stuck in there. There is. So the washer that was in there is a thin one. Make sure there's not another one. So we're going to use the thin one. Put this new one on. Actually, the clearance is different. I think I might have to use the thick one. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the thick one, because the clearance is a lot different on this new one. So I'll use this thick one, because we don't want water to get out around it after we put it on there. So pushed in there, it looks like that. We're going to hand thread it on there. This is always a little difficult if you have big fingers. Make sure I don't cross thread it. There we go. Finger tight, and then I'm going to make it snug, but I'm not going to over tighten it. And just make sure the water flows correctly. There we go. That stream of water is much better, huh? Make sure it's not leaking around the top. We'll give it another half a turn. Just a little bit more. I just can see a drip of water coming off the back of it. Just don't want it to be a problem later. There we go. Actually, it looks crooked. Let me take that back off of there. Nope, I think that's just the seal that goes in the faucet. It's crooked. So let's fix that first. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a press-in brass piece underneath there. See that there? See how it's kind of sticking out a little bit? I'm going to press that in a little bit. Mostly. Press it in a little more. I didn't expect that to come out. Okay. The easiest thing to do. Well, I did it once, so I proved it can be done. There we go, that's good. Alright, I'm not going to mess with it anymore for fear of ruining it. Over tightening or something like that. Old aerator, old gasket, trash. But I'll keep the extra new one. And I'm going to keep this too, just in case. I don't know. I'm one of those garage mechanics who likes to keep everything just in case. Might need one of those. Where you get that light bulb goes off above your head and you think, I think I've got one of those. That back in there so I know what it is. Hang that on my peg for next time. There we go. Hey, Editor Pappy Jack here. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate you.